possibility that he was, you know, approaching a meltdown. And I saw it myself, because I was picking him up from school, you know, a couple of days a week. You know, he'd be in tears or close to tears.
You know, to see him every day, you know, when they come out in tears, you know, was the one great hope of reassurance I had, really. I could get through it, you know. I just wanted to get out of the environment I was in, so over the summer of 2002 we decided to move to Ireland, we did, and my dad started home educating me there.
At the end of the day, I thought, well, to hell with this. Whatever was coming out the other end wouldn't be worth the risk of staying. Having Asperger's, you know, you combine that with, you know, depression as well, and you've got a very, very tricky outlook. So it was the easiest decision I ever took in my life, really, was to extract him from the system and home educate him.
Thank you. That's it. Kitchen one in the kitchen.
The Domican family eventually settled in Wicklow. Bill got a job as a sales rep, and Lisa stayed at home to care for the children.
Kitchen or bathroom? Put the sandwich down. Good boy. There you go. Good boy. Get a kitchen one. Okay?
The Domicans were learning to cope with 2 autistic children. Lisa taught the children at home. She applied for carer and medical supports.
Domiciliary carers allowance, for instance, is something that a lot of our parents in our situation need, because those sort of allowances are very important to try and bring your lifestyle up to a manageable level.
Once you have your own children, your family is your family. So when you have children with autism, that unit becomes really important.
We go to the forest? We plan all of our activities around situations that our children are happy in. A lot of the times with Liam, that might be going to his favourite restaurant. With Grace, it's going for a drive or a walk in the forest. That's what she likes to do, so that's what we do. We structure all of our downtime activities around what they like to do, and we try to move them into areas that we would like them to be, but if they're not comfortable with it, then we withdraw and we go back to what it is that they do. And a lot of the time that's routine, you know, there are routines associated with that they'll want to do the same thing for fairly well on a consistent basis, every week, every day sometimes.
In Kerry, homeschool lessons were adapted to suit Sean's needs and abilities.
PE was always a nightmare for him in terms of getting changed, in terms of being picked last for football teams and things like that. So, what do we do now? We just, me, him and the dog, we'd head off down the beach. We'd practice drop kicks, good for coordination. So that's what we did. If it was a sunny day, we'd head off to the beach and play football. If it was a rainy day, that's when we'd stop in and we'd do the other stuff, you know.
If you want to teach a person with autism life skills, you've got to have the environment just right you have. You can't do it in an environment they're not happy in, because they won't want to learn, basically, you know. It's good to take a step into their world, and they in turn will take a step into yours.
Kevin focused the syllabus on Sean's interests, which included history. Sean also learned practical skills, like handling money.
Maths, well, we made maths functional in terms of, you know, what you need to do going into shops. It was great, because you could just see, you know, all the failures sort of dropping off his shoulders. And, hang on, I can do stuff. You know, I can succeed in things, you know, and success breeds success, you know.
At home in Wicklow, Lisa used a technique called ABA, Applied Behavioural Analysis. It's a teaching method widely used in autism. ABA breaks tasks into small steps achievable by children. repetition and reward encourage development.
Do you want yes treats or no treats?
Yes treats.
Okay, so you need to let me...
Look.
Liam was physically not great. He doesn't have good imitation or muscle tone. So you use a picture because it's easier and everybody understands. And you're literally putting his hand on the crisps picture, using it to hand to you, and you hand him the crisps. So he sees the connection with picture and crisps. He took to it straight away. He was brilliant. I remember I made a really rough picture of the zoo because I was still taking him to animal parks all the time. And it didn't look like a zoo, but it had Z-O-O, and he said zoo. And I thought, oh my God, he can read. He was 4. They obviously worked on it in the school. It was something that the teacher knew what to do.
Whose favourite is that? Gracie's. What's she called? Zoe. How does Gracie say Zoe? Zoe. She does.
Specialist education wasn't as common when Liam and Grace first attended school. Lisa continued with innovative methods at home.
Gracie's very, very visual, but she wasn't starting to speak. And it was through a second program called Verbal Behaviour, which works on applied behavioural analysis principles as well, but it was teaching them to imitate actions with sounds, like brum brum with a car. And because it was fun and it was separate to her communication, she started to do it. And then she was looking at a picture book with a tutor. We were hiring tutors to work at home. And she said, lion. And it was just, oh my God. It was a picture of a tiger, and the two of us, like me and the tutor, just looked at each other and said, lion will do. You can say lion if you like. And from that point on, as long as we kept it very indirect and very playful, she would say bits of words for us.
Parents face daily challenges coping with their child's autism, including acceptance.
I would have had a great deal of difficulty conducting this interview 5 years ago. People that I would meet on a daily basis wouldn't have been aware that I had such a huge issue in my personal life at all, because I didn't share it with them. Maybe I was embarrassed about it. Maybe I felt that it would hold back. It would alter their perception of me as a person.
I knew very little, if nothing, about autism, Asperger's syndrome and what have you. At the time, you are hoping that developmentally things will happen and there's some expert will come along to fix things along the way.
The more you talk about it with people, the more you will come to terms with it, then the better you will deal with it. I have come to accept it and in many ways embrace it.
Sean Foley has now learned many life skills. It means his father Kevin is more available for teaching work in the UK. For weeks at a time, Sean can live independently, manage day-to-day routines, and get to his occupational therapy sessions alone.
Hi, I'm here for my appointment with Roshi.
There's an expression that a boat or a ship is safest in harbour, but they weren't built to stay in harbour. And I'm not going to be around forever. The only danger is you set up so much scaffolding around somebody that when you take the scaffolding away, they can't cope, which is, you know, this is why we're on the distance learning phase of the exercise at the moment.
What the ball does, it's just, it makes sure that you're not using all those shoulder and arm muscles.
My dad, he works for a few months of the year in Nottingham in England, and then he comes back and then goes away again. So as such, to give me the independence really I need, you know, and earn a bit of money for himself, of course. Hi Sinead, how are you? Come in.
Fine, how are you doing?
I'm grand, yourself?
An outreach worker visits Sean every week, but the service has a waiting list.
You can shape it into, you can do sort of exercises, you know, for your hands, like, you know.
I suppose it's semi-independent